Yeah, you all set?
Good evening. My name is Randolph Micklejohn. I'm a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the town of Brookline and the chair of most of this evening's meeting. I'll explain that in a minute. Before we begin, I will confirm that all members and other persons are anticipated to participate on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Stephen Brooks.
Present.
Jesse Geller.
Present.
Wadner Oje.
Present.
Thank you. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Cameron James.
Present.
And Cameron, I don't see any other town staff here just yet.
Just me.
Okay. All speakers should identify themselves by name prior to speaking. This meeting of the ZBA in open session is being conducted remotely and in a manner that is consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which authorizes this body to meet entirely remotely so long as adequate alternative means of public access is provided. Adequate public access does not include public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the ZBA is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's calendar, which identifies how the public may access the meeting. Be advised that this meeting is being held and some attendees may be participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town website through a link in the agenda. The meeting will follow the agenda. It's actually going to depart slightly. I will explain that in a minute. Next, I will cover some ground rules that will permit clear and effective conduct of our business and help to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite each member by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold yours until your name is called. Please also remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Before responding, please wait until the floor is yielded to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through me. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Finally, I will explain how members of the public may speak in this meeting. If you wish to speak, you may either raise your hand using the Zoom feature or send a chat message to our host, Cameron. Cameron, I'll ask you to help me look for raised hands and also to tell me about requests to speak that you receive via the chat. I will try to call on members of the public in the order in which their requests were received. When it is your turn to speak, I will call on you by name only. Please begin your remarks by confirming your name and stating your address. Right. Some general introductory comments. We have 4 items on the agenda, and we're going to hear them in the following order, which is different from the order of the cases on the agenda as it was posted. First, we will hear 66 Toxteth Street, continuing from discussions begun at a meeting on January 29th. I will chair as I did in January, and will be joined by Jesse Geller and Wadner Oje. Second, we will hear 29 Edge Hill Road. This was listed 3rd on the printed agenda. I will step out, Jesse Geller will chair, and he will be joined by Wadner Oje and Stephen Brooks. Third, we will hear 8 Fairway Road. Jesse Geller will step out. Before this case, I will chair again and be joined by Wadner and Steve. And fourth, we will hear 252 Aspinwall Avenue, again with me, Wadner, and Steve. For each case, the chair will introduce the case by number and address and identify the applicant or person who will speak on the applicant's behalf and ask if they will waive a reading of the public notice. The applicant will present the request for relief, and if the board requests it, the design of the project, and board members may ask questions of the applicant. Next, we will hear public comment. First, the chair will call on those members of the public wishing to speak in favor of the project, and then on those opposed. We will then hear the reports of the planning department and of the planning board and comments by the building department. Finally, the board will deliberate and give its decision. All right, that's the introduction. Going to their first case, which is 66 Toxteth Street. And I'll recognize Mr. Allen appearing again as the applicant's counsel.
Yes.
And
Mr. Chairman, please note this is a continued hearing.
yes, thank you. This is a continued hearing. It had been opened on January 29th. And at that session, we got into the design presentation and some discussion with members of the board, and at that point continued until this date. Bobby, do you have other comments you want to make in our setup and where we're coming back into it tonight?
Sure, I'll jump in if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
And just for the record, the reading was waived at the first time
Yes.
around. So if you remember, we have the architect on, Joy Cumming. We also have Ann Engel, and Kim, maybe Nicole might need to pull up some drawings if you don't mind her. We also, if you see Laura McGrath, she's the landscape architect, although she has a little bit of laryngitis tonight, so I don't know how helpful she will be. But just to go back to the chair's original point, this was continued from January 29th hearing. It was continued really, Joy had gone through the proposal relative to the new addition in the rear, and really we got hung up on the parking. I don't think there were no questions or anything related. It really came down to the parking. We actually kicked it so Paul could be here to address any questions. However, I know Paul is not here, but I think the issue's moot because we've developed a solution that pretty much takes away any necessary relief. So to me, really, there were two ways to approach the issue that we had bumped into. One, because we could just argue about the interpretation, and I could show you the 59 cases that I have personally worked on that shows that this board has been interpreting that provision the same way for as long as I can remember, or sometimes it's just easy to find a solution and move on. Fortunately, the solution of adding another driveway was something the minority of the planning board wanted, as well as some folks from the neighborhood. So this plan took the suggestion of actually the planning board chair, which is to keep the existing non-conforming driveway on the south side of the lot and add a second single lane driveway on the north side of the lot, where previously we proposed a 2-car driveway. In addition to being narrowed to 1 lane, going from 18-foot curb to 14-foot curb and 12-foot driveway. We've also pushed the parked car area back from 15 feet to 22 feet, so aligning it with the average alignment of the front yard setback. So it's more or less lined up exactly with the house, which is about 22 feet. And being only 1 lane allowed us to add the 5-foot landscape buffer between the parking area and the northern property line. So we pushed the cars back as far as we could without impacting the buffer. We had Laura meet with our arborist, and we're comfortable now that we pushed the driveway to a point where we can preserve the trees. It was very important for my clients to preserve that big maple, and I know it was important for the neighbors. There were a couple people that came on at the planning board that focused mainly on the trees and trying to preserve the trees. We will also be adding shade tolerant narrow evergreens like Hicks, yews, and fasciade, is that how you pronounce it? Yews, in the deepest shade, and the existing mature rhododendrons that are in place now will be pruned for density and repositioned to screen the parked vehicles. So I don't know, Mr. Chair, if you want Joy to go back over the issues with the house. It didn't seem like there were any issues there, or whether you want me to just kind of walk through what the changes on the driveway were before I kind of get into some of the legal aspects of the zoning.
Yeah, I think it would help to if we could just zoom in on the altered part of the drawing, and I think that includes both of the driveways, just to see some of those dimensions a little. They're kind of hard to read the size that it is now, and I wonder then if you could recap the requests for relief if some of them are different now because of the change in the design.
Yes. So there's no more issue with sort of the front yard parking. If you remember before, we had 15 feet, and the suggestion was that it needed to be the average alignment, which was 22
Yeah.
feet. We managed to get it to 22.3. So Paul confirmed that that was no longer necessary, nor was the side yard setback for the driveway area. However, and this is the area that blows my mind, but we somehow we need relief. Somewhere along the line, this driveway magically turns into a parked car area. And we need relief that because it's supposed to go driveway, wherever this magical point is, turns from 5 feet to 10 feet. And again, 59 cases that I've done shows differently, but I guess we would need relief.
Can I just ask you to clarify? Is that what the building department is saying to you?
The building.
I know that's what I said.
The building department is yielding to the board's interpretation is the way I interpreted Paul's comments. If that
You didn't get a new.
His point is always the board interprets. I just call it like I see it. Typically, they call it the way they've always called it, but he said he's yielding to the board.
All right, thanks. And I'm not disputing your account of the conversation. You didn't get a new denial letter from the building department, correct?
No.
Okay.
No. Kim, we didn't get, or Nicole, we didn't get a new one, right? He just sent an email saying that we no longer needed relief for the front yard setback and the side yard setback is fine. And he said that the parking area would need to be 10 feet. But he added that to the last denial from last time around, if you remember, Randolph.
I do.
Yeah. And that's the part that we just differ on.
Can you talk about the other driveway, please?
Well, the other driveway is existing.
I know, but we didn't look at it last time, and it's part of the design now. And are you?
We're not touching it.
You're not. Are there 3 cars in it now, or is it surfaced for 3 cars, or what is it actually?
Yeah, it's surfaced. It goes all the way to the back of the property right now to a garage. The garage is coming down, and we're going to cap it there and add some green back there. So we're going to reduce the amount of pavement on that side. We're going to cut it off where you see it right there, cut off, and we're going to turn the back into green space where it went all the way back. But we're keeping the front end of it, and yes, it can fit 3 vehicles in there.
So it looks like the existing layer of the drawing shows 2, paved concrete tracks or something.
Yeah.
And does the design propose just full width paving in the long hatched rectangle?
Yes, and what is exactly there now is going to remain there.
Okay.
Can
I just ask other board members, while we're in the drawing, do you have other questions about it or things you want explained? And I'm actually, Steve, can you just turn your video off? I think it's just because I'm getting a limited number of cells on my screen and I can't see Wadner.
Sure, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
I don't think Wadner's on.
No, I'm on.
No,
I just brought my video.
Okay.
He doesn't
Okay.
have his
Well,
video.
all right. I got Wadner's name in print then. That's
I don't
good.
like looking at Steve either, Randolph, so that's good.
Wadner, Jesse, any questions at this point about the design changes?
I don't have any questions.
I just want to hear the.
Jesse, can you try that again? We didn't get very good audio from you.
Argument.
Oh boy.
I want to hear the section that is impacted the legal argument.
Jesse, you broke up for a majority of what you said there. And now you're frozen. Maybe you need to kill your video to get more bandwidth.
Yeah, it sounded like the last thing he said was
You were breaking up.
I think, let's say, it's a legal argument that reflect the new changes.
Okay, I think that, how about this? Bobby, are there other design changes? I don't think we need to go back to the design of
No.
the house, although that, I'll let the members jump in if they would like to. I think we can go back to the request for relief as
Okay.
you're amending it.
Yeah, I'll just go through the zoning and hopefully that'll answer the questions that were asked that I didn't really hear clearly. But
Okay,
a special permit is required in a T district for an attached dwelling occupied by no more than one family in each unit, according to the table of use regulations. That's what we're here for, a special permit for that second unit.
yep,
Side yard setback relief is required for the parking area under 6045C2 of the zoning bylaw. That's the provision that we were just talking about. That
yep,
bumps it up from 5 feet to 10 feet. 5.43 allows us to seek a special permit for that as long as we provide counterbalancing amenities. As I explained, we were adding, we were trimming some of the existing pruning and repositioning them to make sure they screen the parked vehicles, as well as adding shade tolerant evergreens and yews in that to cover us under 5.43. Would provide that to Polly, subject to her final review. The 22-foot front yard setback has been complied with. The 5-foot driveway setback has been complied with. So I think that addresses the zoning issues. So we have 5.43 relief under 6045C2.
yeah. And just to be clear, I think you said that the location, and you'll go through this with Polycelco, but the location of the plantings is in that now what is now a 5-foot planting strip between the property line and the new parking.
Yeah, do you see the oval
The
area
oval.
there?
Oh, got it. Yep. I
Yeah,
see new
that's
landscaping.
where the new landscaping is being added, because we have the pruning will take place. It exists. Don't forget, that's all a kind of a mudded area there, and there's some significant rhododendrons there. So we just got to tame them up a little bit and reposition them.
Okay. Cameron, can you see if Jesse is back in the Zoom?
He is.
You can't
Okay,
see me, Randolph?
Because of, let's take the drawing down, Nicole or Bobby, and maybe then we'll see more. There's Jesse. Okay. Jesse, do you have any questions to cover anything in when you were present or not here?
I have nothing additional.
Okay.
I just to repeat what I said, I guess, when I was breaking up, and I actually was dropped off the Zoom hearing for a minute. I just wanted to hear the legal argument, the section that applied, and the legal avenue by which we could grant relief. Bob has answered those questions.
I still have to just run through 905 standards.
Yes, you do. Yes,
But-
you do.
But
Okay,
I don't know
please
if you
do.
want to get questions first, Randolph.
Well, while we're paused, Wadner, any questions from you?
No, I do not
All right.
have any questions.
All right, thanks. Why don't you finish
Great.
up there,
So we
Bobby?
believe that we meet the following standards for a special permit using 5.43. The property is located, is appropriate location for the use. The property is located in a residential neighborhood. It's a T two-family district, and it's going to be proposed to be used as a two-family district. The use will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The proposed use is consistent with uses in the neighborhood that are a two-family district. No nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. The existing driveway will remain the same, and the new driveway will be consistent with others on the street and have plenty of distance for backing out to provide adequate sight distances pedestrians when exiting the driveway. Adequate appropriate facilities will be provided. The new construction will meet current building code standards, and the driveway and the curb cut will meet all current DPW requirements and standards. And the development will not have an effect on the supply of housing. In fact, it adds additional we seek to convert an existing single family into a two-family, so allow additional family to live in the neighborhood. So for those reasons, we think we meet the special permit standards. Very limited relief here now that these changes have been made under 905. So we ask for your support.
All right. Thank you. And board members, anything before we go to public comment?
Nothing.
Hearing none. For public comment, I had made some notes about the the letters in the packet that we received as of the hearing when it began on January 29th. We heard from, and I'm going to qualify these because these were commenting on a design which has now changed, but nevertheless, for the record, we had heard from Rebecca Stone and Stephen Walt in opposition, Catherine and Charles Brown in opposition, Jared and Caroline Carver in opposition, and Daniel Beck and Deborah Fisher in support. Cameron, I believe we received another written comment today from Ann Turner with a question about the design, a concern. Were there others? We will then go to members of the public who are present.
No, we didn't receive any of the new emails.
All right. We will now hear from members of the public who would like to speak first. Any indicating they want to speak in favor? Not hearing any. Any members opposed, or do we have to ask that raised hands, Cameron?
We have a raised hand from Rebecca Stone.
All right, I'm going to recognize Rebecca Stone.
Okay. Yep.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you to
Sorry, Ms. Stone, just give us your name
I'm
your
Rebecca Stone.
address.
I live at 71 Tuxas Street, right across the street from 66. And this is exactly the answer we were hoping for, as laid out in the letters that we wrote. And I so appreciate the work that's been done to make this happen. And I hope that the project goes forth now and is a great success. I want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Cameron, anybody else?
I see no other hands raised.
All right. Let's hear from the planning department and the planning board.
Yep. So the planning board is supportive of the proposal and the addition of a dwelling unit. The board was divided on whether it'd be more appropriate for the neighborhood if there were two driveways, one on each side of the lot, with 2 cars in each rather than one driveway. The board, however, voted to support the proposal as it was at the time. Board members were split on the driveway issue. The planning board recommends approval of the site plan prepared by Limhout Tiv PE, dated September 9th, 2025, and architectural plans prepared by Joyce A. Cumming, RA, dated September 10th, 2025, subject to the following conditions. 1, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit final floor plans and elevations stamped and signed by a registered architect, and a final site plan stamped and signed by a registered engineer or land surveyor to the Director for Regulatory Planning or a designee for review and approval. 2, prior to the issuance of a building permit, a construction management plan shall be submitted for review and approval of the building commissioner or designee. And 3, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit to the building commissioner for review and approval the floor plans, site plans, and elevations displaying the approval stamp of the Director for Regulatory Planning and evidence that the Board of Appeals decision has been obtained from the town clerk's office by the applicant or their representative and recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Cam, could you just change that site plan to February 25th, 2026?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that can be.
thank you. I was going to ask,
yeah.
that's the date of the new plan, February.
Right, thanks.
Say it again, 25th, Bobby?
2/25/26.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cameron, do you have remarks to relay from the building department?
Yes, I do have the building department report. The building department reviewed the most recent with the time permitted and found the new site plan dated 2/25/26 shows that relief is no longer required for the driveway setback or front yard setback to the newly proposed parking area, but relief is still required for the side yard setbacks from the side lot line to the newly proposed parking area, parking spaces 1 and 2. Relief can be sought under 5.43 of the zoning bylaw. Therefore, the building department has no objection to the requested relief and will work with the petitioner to ensure compliance with the zoning bylaw, board's decision, and applicable codes.
Thank you. Before deliberation, questions from members of the board about any of the town staff reports. Wadner?
I do not have a question. I just want to make a comment. I appreciate the applicant listened to the neighbors and concern and as well as the board and went back and fixed it. That's a win-win situation for both the
Thank you,
neighborhood
Wadner.
and the applicant.
Thanks, Wadner. Jesse, any questions about
None.
staff reports? All right.
None.
We will now deliberate. Let's see, Jesse, would you like to start?
Sure. So, I think the, application meets the requirements, under section 9.05 for special permit, for the reasons cited into the record by Mr. Allen. I also note that the applicant, as is required under section 543, which is how we get to section 905, is offering landscaping as a counterbalancing amenity, which we generally find as acceptable. So I'd be in favor of granting the special permits.
All right, thank you, Wadner.
I agree with JC. I have nothing more to add.
Thank you. I also agree. I'm going to note this is one of those when we have I think the counterbalancing amenity is a clear good fit for the dimensional relief to the location of the parking, specifically because it creates a space in which the landscaping can actually screen the cars that are now appearing there for the first time. I agree with the applicant's statement that the special permit conditions under 905 A through E have been met. I'm satisfied with that, and I also would vote in favor. That makes it a unanimous grant of relief, subject to the conditions that have been read into the record.
Thank you all very much.
I want to thank everyone for their participation. Hope the project goes well.
Thank you.
At this point, as we move to the next case, I'm going to step out and turn off my camera, but I will still be here, and I will rejoin at the next case as Jesse Geller takes over to chair.
Thank you, Randolph. Good evening, everyone. We are calling case number 2025-0068. This is an application to construct a vestibule with a landing and steps at property with a street address of 29 Edge Hill Road. For the record, I will be chairing the hearing this evening. My name is Jesse Geller, and seated with me will be Wadner Auger and Stephen Brooks. The hearing will be in the following order. We'll hear the applicant's presentation. We will then hear from anyone who wants to speak in favor of the application, then from anyone in opposition. We will then hear the planning board and planning department reports, and then we'll hear the recommendation of the building department. Lastly, the board will deliberate and give its decision. If you do wish to offer testimony this evening, we ask that you start by giving us your name and your address. Speak loudly and clearly for the record. Who's here on behalf of the applicant? I see a hand raised. Will you agree to waive forcing Cameron James, poor Cameron James, from reading the published notice?
Yes, I will waive the reading of the
Excellent. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay,
And
Mr. Chair and members of the board, for the record, I am Frank Dill of 27 Leslie Road in Belmont, and I'm the architect for the proposal at 29 Edge Hill Road. The homeowners, Sean and Carrie Brown, are both here tonight. They've lived in this house with their family since 2009, and can plan to continue living there for the foreseeable future. I'm just going to share my screen briefly. Okay. These are photos of the existing house. Their home at 29 Edge Hill is a single-family residence in the S10 district. Our clients are proposing to rebuild an existing non-conforming front vestibule and stair. They are shown here in the lower left photo, the largest version. They're proposing to rebuild it with a slightly larger version, and we're requesting relief from sections 5.20 floor area ratio, section 5.51 projections into front yards, and also section 8.02 extension of existing non-conforming aspects of the structure. The proposal was approved by the Preservation Commission on January the 13th and the Planning Board on January the 22nd of this year. We believe that the following changes are not, let's see, let me go back and show the vestibule. It looks like this from the front, appears like that from the side in a larger version. We're trying to rebuild in a slightly larger footprint, but what we feel is the smallest size that we can, that will sort of fulfill the function that we need for this vestibule. We believe that the proposed changes are not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood. The location proposed for the vestibule is appropriate and very typical of the Pill Hill Historic District. The existing vestibule and stair are in poor condition. We believe the neighborhood would actually be improved by the replacement of the front vestibule following the Preservation Commission guidance. The vestibule design will not present a hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. New building code compliant handrails and guards on both sides of the stair will actually increase the safety of visitors' property. And code compliant steps and lighting will be provided to serve the proposed use. Development as proposed will not have a significant adverse effect on the supply of housing available for low and moderate income people. I welcome any questions you have. I don't have a lot else to say about the vestibule, but I welcome questions.
Great. Just to be clear, I'm asking you this for you to either confirm or tell me otherwise. Are you here making an argument as a pre-existing non-conforming single-family home under 40A Section 6?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So hence your argument that there's no substantial detriment and that it meets the 905 requirements. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And are there any new nonconformities?
They're not new nonconformities, but we are extending the existing.
But there are no new ones.
That's correct. There are no new ones.
Great. Thank you. Those are my only questions. Wadner, any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Steve?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Dill, do you have anything further to add?
No, not
Great.
at this time.
Thank you. Okay, Cameron, do we have anyone here who wants to speak in favor of or in opposition to?
I see no hands raised and no chats.
Excellent. Planning Board and Planning Department reports, please.
Yep. So let me start the planning board report. The planning board is supportive of the application. The board had no issues with the requested relief, considering the minimal changes and that the relief required is limited to pre-existing nonconformities. The planning board recommends approval of the site plan prepared by Scott C. Lynch, PLS, dated August 11th, 2025, and architectural plans prepared by Frank Young Dill, RA, dated November 20th, 2025, subject to the following conditions. 1, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit final floor plans and elevations stamped and signed by a registered architect and a final site plan stamped and signed by a registered engineer or land surveyor to the Preservation Commission staff and the Director for Regulatory Planning or designee for review and approval. 2, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit to the building commissioner for review and approval the floor plans, site plans, and elevations displaying the approval stamp of the Director for Regulatory Planning and evidence that the Board of Appeals decision has been obtained from the town clerk's office by the applicant or their representative and recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Thank you, Cameron. And anything from the Building Department?
The building department has no objection to the requested relief and will work with the petitioner to ensure compliance with the zoning bylaw, board's decision, and applicable codes.
Thank you. So I'll kick it off, board members. I think that the applicant has established that it meets the criteria under 40A Section 6 as interpreted by Diedrich, and those cases that follow. Testimony indicates there's no substantial detriment to the neighborhood. It's a fairly modest proposal and a fairly modest expansion, and we have testimony that there are no new nonconformities which would prevent them moving forward with a 40A Section 6 form of relief. So I would be in favor of a determination that it meets those criteria, as well as that there's no substantial detriment. I think they have also utilized the metrics that we typically utilize under Section 905 to determine whether we believe there is a substantial detriment to the neighborhood. So I would be in favor of the grant. Wadner?
I am also in favor. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome. And Steve?
Thank you, Jesse. I echo the same factors that you just announced, and obviously this is a very modest change and a beneficial one, so I'm in favor.
Excellent. So it is unanimous determination and grant of relief. It is a lovely house. And I think the modest proposal works nicely with it. Thank you, everyone. Don't go anywhere, board members, because you have a longer night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your service, Jesse.
You're welcome, Randolph. Have fun.
All right. Moving along, our third case is number 2025-000067 concerning property at 8 Fairway Road, where the project is to construct a rear 2-story sunroom addition with new basement area. Who is here as the applicant or on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, my name is Sharif Al-Gindi. I live in 8 Fairway Road, and I am the applicant.
You are the applicant. Thank you, sir. And will you waive a reading of the public notice?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Please tell the board about the request for relief, and then we'll, I think we will probably ask to see the design after that.
The request is relief from the floor area issue. This extension is in the back of the house. It's not visible from the street or to any of the neighbors except my direct abutter. It's designed to replace the current deck. It's a 3-season room, so it's 2-story high, but it's only like one usable level. So it's designed to be an indoor garden. I have a vacant lot next to me on Boylston Street, and it was approved under 40B for like a big building with 7 feet setbacks and probably more than 70 feet height. So I will have significant shadow effects affecting my house and my yard. So for me and my family, this extension will provide, it was designed to provide as much light and sun as we can get. Like I did my own shadow studies, so I can get like some afternoon and end of day sun. It's mainly like a glass. When you see the design, it's mostly glass. It respected all the setbacks from the sides and to Boylston Street. I'm within the town expected height for the building. It fits. It doesn't, like at the end, it will not have a big like footprint affecting anything because it will also be green inside. There will be trees inside. There should be a letter from the architect. I mean, I didn't see it on the agenda meeting, but there was a letter from the architect to the planning board. And there's also a letter from me that kind of also summarizes the situation.
I'm going to recommend that we go into the design. Thank you for the description of the project. I think it would be helpful to see the exit, and we've got some of these drawings in the packet. I think board members may have some questions about the drawing showing the existing and then the proposed floor plans. Is someone available to do that?
From my side?
Yes.
Oh, I can do it, yeah. But I think you have the floor, you have the design, right? Do I need to share it on my screen or?
Yes, we'd like to share it on the screen and have it available to everyone in the meeting.
Okay. So am I allowed to share? Or?
Yeah, you should be all set to share. It's
Okay.
the green button at the bottom.
Okay. So
Perfect.
All right. So if you can just please let me know, like just scroll down or
Yeah, Mr. Algendi, can I? We're seeing what we're seeing is the whole, agendas and minutes interface.
Oh,
And
yeah, okay.
Cameron does someone have the PDF that we could just see larger, because we probably won't be able to read any dimensions or numbers on these drawings.
I can show the PDF that I have if you give me a moment.
All right.
I'll share my screen, Sharif, and you can just talk over my screen.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Cameron. Yeah, that's bigger. That's a little better, at least for myself.
Okay, so the drawing on top is basically looking from the south side. So looking at it from the yard. So Boylston Street is, on the south side. And the design is mainly, if you notice, most of the envelope, the wall is glass, and next to it there will be a deck.
So, Mr. Algendi, can I suggest that because the nature, the relief that the project is requesting has to do with floor area, maybe we could concentrate on the floor plans, where we'll see the amounts of existing and proposed building space.
Okay, so Cameron, I'm sorry, I cannot scroll it, so you can.
You guys can see the floor plan up here now. This is the proposed floor
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, Cameron, zoom back out so we can at least see the whole house. Yeah. I think you're in a little tight. That's better. Thank you. This is the first floor. The second floor, there's a basement plan drawing, I believe?
There's a basement, yeah.
Here.
And Mr. Algendi, can I just ask, is the basement, it says new unfinished basement. And it looks like the basement space is accessed by a new outside stair, but also through two openings through the foundation wall from the existing basement. Is that right?
It should be one opening only. Does it show two over here? It should be one.
Oh, that one to the left is something else?
It should be only the one to the left. If there is, oh, I see this. No, this will not be. I don't know why he put that there. It should be only the one to the left. Just so, just so I can have access.
Steve Wadner, as we're going through the drawings, please speak up if you have
Yeah,
particular questions.
I just have a question. What would be the need for the basement? I know it says unfinished. So is
Because
there a plan to later on to come back and then try to request relief to use the basement?
the
What
design
would
was
be the reason?
initially, the design initially was a crawling space, like a 4 feet crawling space. So he then suggested, like, just go down 7 feet and make it a basement because the expenses will be more or less the same. It will not cost much more to make it 7 feet. And it can be used for anything. He said you can use it storage space, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So that's really like the initial drawing wasn't 7, it was 4 feet.
So my question would be, do you have any plans down the line to come back and ask for relief for to finish the basement?
I don't have direct plans to do that now. But it will allow me to use my current basement.
But if it's a 3-season poach, why you need a basement underneath it?
It was again, it was because it was a 4 feet crawling space, so it was an open space anyways, and that was the initial plan. And then one of the contractors suggested to the architect to make it, like an actual 7 feet height.
Yeah,
For
so it seems like the height, when you look at from the outside, it looked like a 2-story structure, and also you have a basement. So
it looks like a 2-story structure, but it's only one level. Like I don't have 2 levels. I just have a
but
high ceiling.
is it, I'm just curious, what's the feature down the line? What's the plan? Because the way, if you look at it outside, it's already designed. Are you any plan to convert it to a 2-story?
Right now,
And
I don't have plans
including,
to. I'm sorry, convert what to a 2-story? The extension itself, no. I will not convert it
Wadner,
to a 2-story.
Wadner, can I just jump in here? With respect to your question about the basement, the zoning bylaw does provide for the board's, possible action in response to a proposal, any proposal that creates attic or basement space that is not proposed as finished, but which could be made habitable in the future. This is in 509(2)N. My understanding of it is that although the area of that unfinished basement can be held out of the proposed, new total gross area, and I'm reading here, in granting a special permit for the construction of such non-habitable space, the Board of Appeals shall set forth as a condition of the special permit the extent to which such space may or may not be converted to a habitable space in the future. So I think it was appropriate.
yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah, I think you were. If I didn't remember the exact, but that's basically, I feel like it's if we don't do that, if we were to, move forward, we don't do that. Would that basically, it's just like in run around. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna come in from this, but the intention is for to do it the bigger thing. But if we do it that way, it may allow us to do the expansion.
But
So
I
that's
don't have any
why
intentions to make it, sorry to interrupt, I don't have any intentions to make it habitable or
so.
put bedrooms or a living room or anything in it.
All right, thank you, Randolph. So I guess that's something the board may want to take on consideration, whether to restrict the unfinished basement in terms of livable space.
Yeah, thank you, Wadner. Mr. Agundi, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you just state your intention for that the basement you do not intend to make it habitable in the future?
No, meaning like no bedrooms, no living
Yeah.
room, no, I will not do that. Maybe
Thank you.
like a pool table, like a ping pong table, that's the max I'm going to do with it. Storage mainly because I have a current basement and I have living space in it, but it's mostly storage. So if I
All right.
move it to this new area, I can use the one I have now.
I just want to check with Steve Brooks. Steve, any questions at this point in the design?
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Agundi, could we go to the there's a calculation table of building areas in the Sorry, I guess it seems it's like, looks like it's a zoning analysis document. And when I was studying these materials before, I was having trouble understanding the connection between the proposed areas and what the bylaw allows. It's not these drawings, it's one of the other documents in the packet. Is this, Cameron, can you just page
Yeah.
down to the that zoning analysis?
You said it was the zoning report? This
You know,
one
on the
here.
paper, on the head of the, thank
This
you,
this
that
document
one.
here.
The next page of it. So, Mr. Algendi, Cameron, these numbers are, these are smaller numbers than the version that I have. It's a little concerning, but
Let me, so if we go back here, this here has is that the same graph? No, I don't believe so. Yeah, this here is the same graph with, does this match the numbers you have?
no.
Let me,
You know, I'm still going
right
to
here.
ask I'm going to ask a question about the building areas, which connects with the provisions of 522 under which the project is seeking relief. And yeah, that's the one that I've got. But it looks to me like the building area to count is what's in those two lines: new rear 3-season room, 1348, and there's another version of a number, and then 162 square feet for the new dressing room. And my understanding is that that's the total proposed new finished square footage. And the reason for my concern and my question is that I don't see how that meets the limit of 20% of the permitted gross floor area in 5223B1B, which is a lot of, but this is the paragraph that says, for exceeding the maximum gross floor area for residential dwellings, you in S and SC districts, you can do it through an exterior addition that is less than or equal to 20% of the Sorry?
No, I said, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
An exterior addition that is less than or equal to 20% of the permitted gross floor area. It looked to me like the permitted gross floor area on this lot is not enough to allow, if 20% of it would not get you these square footages of the 3-season room and the dressing room on the chart.
I actually asked the architect to attend today because he will be able to provide more details, but he couldn't do it. And he said there was a letter from him that explains everything, but I'm not sure if I see it.
Yeah, I don't. Cameron, has such a letter been furnished to the?
I don't believe I've
department?
received such a letter. I'm
No,
gonna stop sharing and
it
I
was
can
to the
look at my
planning
email.
board, and he thought it will, be provided with, when the paperwork moved from the planning board. He didn't send a specific one to the ZBA.
Mr. Algendi, would you be willing to continue to a later date in order to get those, either at least the letter from the architect addressing these questions, or possibly the architect to attend the meeting to answer them? I'll be frank with you. I don't believe I would be able to support a grant of relief as it's requested tonight.
All right. Do you mind if you just tell me like the exact question, and I can have him at least prepare a letter or something? Will this work if he prepares a letter to answer the question? instead of waiting another month?
I think the best way is for me to relay it through Cameron, through the planning department. I have already sent that question to him, but I'll let me just recap it for you. The limit to the floor area that you can add to this house is a function of the permitted gross floor area on the lot that you have. And the lot is 20,257 square feet. The FAR is 0.25, which means that again, this is my understanding of the numbers. The architect needs to make the application to confirm this, but it looks like the permitted gross floor area should be 5064. And under the 522 paragraph that's referenced in the planning board report, the limit on the size of an exterior addition you can have is only 20% of that permitted gross floor area, which is 1,012 feet. And your addition right now is bigger than that.
1,012 feet.
And Cameron, I think that the email that I sent you and Polly today is perfectly okay to forward.
Okay.
To the architect.
If I'm able to get a response from him, like soon, do we have to continue to another meeting, or can we, if he has an explanation or an answer or calculation?
We have one more case. I would be willing to pause this case and hear the other case and then come back to conclude your case tonight. My guess, it may be no more than 20 minutes, half hour at the very, very most.
Okay. All right. I'll try to, of course, I'm not sure that he will call me back or text me back, but I will try to text
Okay.
him.
No, and we've done that on other cases, so I'm perfectly willing to let you see what you can get. We are going to suspend discussion on 8 Fairway Road. And with the same panel, move to the last case in the agenda, which is 252 Aspinwall Avenue. All right. In this case, this is case number 2025-000065. Again, concerning property at 252 Aspinwall Avenue, where the project is to convert an unfinished basement into a 4th unit and to change the use from 3-family to 4-family. I'm noting that this is one of a whole block of similar row buildings on a block bounded by Aspinwall, Netherlands, Brooklyn Ave, Parkway Road, along the Muddy River and the municipal border with Boston. Who is here as the applicant on behalf of the applicant?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Allen, will you waive a reading of the public notice?
I will, thank you.
Thank you again. Please tell the board about the request for relief.
Sure, for the record, my name is Robert Allen. I have a law practice, 300 Washington Street in Brookline Village. I'm here with Alan Schlayan, who is the owner rep, and Jack Roper is the designer. 252 Aspinwall is existing 3-story brick building located in M1 apartment house district. The property has been vacant for about 8 years, believe it or not, due to a severe fire that occurred on the first floor in 2017 that left the building with significant fire and water damage to the foundation, to the roof, to the entranceway, to the brickwork. Actually, one of the most significant issues, it's got this elegant, like stone masonry framing doorway that if you went by there now, there's a 4x4 post basically holding it up, and it's been holding it up for 8 years, which is a shame. It's a beautiful entranceway. The good news is, after we did find a skilled mason who was willing to take on the project. There weren't many masons who were willing to take that on, but we found somebody for that entranceway. All the windows have been boarded up since 2017, and because of all the damage, it's sat on the market. So a 3-decker sitting on the market in Brookline for that long is unheard of. Finally, my clients took a chance on it. The issue was it's over the allowable FAR, and in order to get a fourth unit, you'd need to go for a variance. So we're here tonight seeking a variance. The neighborhood is mostly multifamilies with 2-3 families to the west of Netherlands Road. It's located directly across from Brookline Ave Playground in walking distance. It's as Randolph said, it's kind of a local bricks, kind of C-shaped. It's right around the block. They're all attached together. The proposal, while requiring a variance, is pretty straightforward. And what they're proposing and seek to convert an existing uninhabitable basement into a dwelling unit, in turn converting the existing 3 into a multifamily with a 4th dwelling, triggering a payment to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There's no changes to the building's footprint. However, the planning board did recommend for larger windows and window well pits. The window well pits isn't a zoning issue. The windows aren't a zoning issue, but we thought it was an excellent idea. The planning board's always pushing for more light, and we had, I'd say, conservative window wells, but we're able to make them larger. We do have that a railing around there, a fence around there, so it's protected area. So we took advantage of their comments. Design review was also triggered, but the proposed exterior changes are minimal, focusing mainly on repointing, fixing some structural defects, and replacing the basement windows, as well as the windows that were boarded up following the fire. The conversion is proposed under 505, which allows this board to waive dimensional requirements, provided no previous existing nonconformity is increased, and providing all other requirements for the conversion are met. Existing dimensional nonconformities that are not being changed are front and side yard setback. Since the FAR and open space nonconformities are being increased, a variance is also required. So right now, there's pretty much no usable open space because there's no 15 by 15. The backyard's all cement, and then you just have a little bit of landscaped open in the front. When we add the 4th unit, that increases the open space requirement, that increases the landscape requirement. So we would need a variance for open space, landscaped, and the additional FAR. So we do have Jack here, but I don't know, Randolph, does the board need to, there's nothing really architectural. This is really a legal argument if you want to see the floor plans, but there's really, if you want to see the building, or you tell me.
Yeah, let me get to that in a minute. Thank you, Bobby. Can I just ask you to go a little farther on the building itself and the consequences of the fire? You talked about the damage to the stone archway on the front, the things that we see from the outside. And where I'm going with this is was the condition in which the building, is now after the fire and the closure, such as to require a level of investment that needed to be balanced with the additional unit? Is that what's driving the additional unit?
Yeah, and that's what drove it from being vacant for so long, because people would call me, I'm like, well, listen, the variance is a crapshoot in this town, it's 50-50, and I can make an argument here, but what I did is and what I typically do is I have the architect reach out to their builders and their engineers and come up with a dollar figure to leave out the cosmetics, leave out the stuff that you're gutting, you were going to do anyway, focus just on what's required by code and what's required by the damage. And we came up with a dollar figure of $324,370 total for just bringing it back to a point where it was before the fire. So that gets into sort of my hardship argument that you'll hear when I argue the variance. But that's essentially, you're right. That's where I'm going with this argument.
Okay. I don't think when we did get the design drawings in the packet, I don't need to see them, but I will ask the other members. Steve, what do you think? Do you want to see drawings on the screen?
No, I've seen them already. I don't need to see them
Okay.
again. Thank you.
Thank you. Wadner?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, Bobby. We'll carry on. I think we won't need the drawings, and let's just why don't you carry on with your zoning argument?
Okay, I'll do the crawl before I walk, and I'll start with the special permit, and then I'll go into the variance argument. I'll stop after the special permit to see if you have any questions. So a special permit for existing setback nonconformity, section 505 conversion. A conversion is allowed under 505 if the ZBA grants a special permit for the existing nonconformities. As I said, front yard setback required is 15, existing is 5.3, no changes. Side yard setback required is a formula of 10 plus length divided by 10. Of course, the existing, it's a row house, so the existing is 0, and the proposed, of course, is 0. We can't meet side yard setback when it's a row house. Design review under 509 due to the increase, 509.2, when you add a 4th unit, it triggers design review. We submitted the community environmental impact statement. It was approved by the planning board, who again recommended unanimous approval and supported the project. And then finally, special permit for affordable housing under section 4.08. The double whammy for the town here is that they get a basement unit, arguably quote unquote small a affordable here in Brookline, close to the LMA, plus they get a payment to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So it's a nice double whammy for the town here. We believe we meet these 3 special permits under 905 because the specific site is appropriate location for such use. It's an M district. There are other units that in that overall complex that have a 4th unit in there. And the use is consistent with multifamily district. It's right on the T, right by a field, right by the LMA. Great location for a garden level unit. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. We haven't had anybody speak in opposition. Building has been vacant for 8 years. I think, the one thing about this building is it's actually in the corner almost, so it's when you're driving down Aspinwall to Brookline Ave, it's the building that you see, and people have been looking at plywood for the last 8 years. So I think this will be a big improvement for the neighborhood. There'll be no nuisance or serious hazard of vehicles or pedestrians. We're not changing. In the middle of the building, behind all the buildings, there's just that chaotic, typical Brookline parking area there for all the units back there. There's a separate entrance everybody has a right of way, and then there's parking behind the building. Adequate appropriate facilities will be provided. We're going to bring this building up to code, fire code. We're going to sprinkle the whole building because we had a 4th unit. We actually have to sprinkle the whole building, so won't have to be worrying about a fire in the building again. The development as proposed will not have a significant adverse effect on the supply of housing. Again, as I mentioned, a payment to the trust fund and a garden level unit, so a good win for the town. So we believe we meet the standard in the special permit. With that, I'll take a quick pause before I get into the variance argument. See if you have any questions.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, and I should have known I didn't need to mention the location that you would be emphasizing the location. I don't have any questions at this stage. Steve?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Wadner?
I do not have any questions.
All right, here we go. Variance.
All right. So the existing building was constructed before the zoning bylaw went into effect. It's actually currently over the allowable FAR. It's at 1.09 and the max is 1.0. The proposed garden level unit would convert 1574 square feet of previously uninhabitable space into habitable area. This conversion would increase the building total gross floor area to 6,437 square feet, resulting in a proposed FAR of 1.45. Approximately 2,000 square feet above the allowable limit. But again, there was some of it that was already above. However, we remain everything in the existing envelope and no significant exterior changes. We need a variance for usable open space, as I mentioned. The required is 20% of the GFA. The existing, there's none. It will require more because we're adding. But there's none, and we're not going to have any in the future. Landscape open space. Right now, there is about 492 square feet. We're able to increase a little bit by adding a little bit in the back to bring it up to, oh no, sorry, the requirement is 10%, which is currently being met and isn't changing. But with the increase, so the 10% is met. The 492 meets the current, it's at 10.1%, 10% is required. But once we add the 4th unit, it brings it up to 643 square feet. So we're over and we're not able to make up because there's no room to make up any, it's just pavement in the back and the front is the front. So we need a variance for that. And and of course the FAR. So this board, I don't have to read 40A section 6. The board knows it. I'll just walk through the elements. There are circumstances relating to the soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structure, and especially affecting such land or structure, but not affecting generally the zoning district. As recognized by this board and supported by case law, the standard also encompasses the uniqueness of a structure. The subject property qualifies as such a unique land and structure. It is the corner of a triangular-shaped group of row houses built within an urban block pattern, lacking side yard with only a limited rear yard and fully constrained by its historic footprint, shared party walls, and masonry construction. These characteristics significantly restrict any potential for further development. Furthermore, the building sustained substantial fire damage and has been vacant for the past 8 years. This damage affected all aspects of the structure, including damage to the roof, foundation, structural brick masonry. The extent of fire and water damage necessitated full reconstruction and code upgrades to all aspects of the building to bring it up to current building standards and to meet fire safety codes, including a new sprinkler system, elevator, a second means of egress, and structural remediation. These upgrades would not have been needed if there wasn't fire and water damage. We had our contractor, as I said, back out all the cosmetic repairs and provide us with a breakdown of the costs associated with fire and water restoration and remediation, which totaled $324,000. A financial burden directly tied to the unique condition of the existing structure as a fire damaged structure rather than to any action of the applicant. These conditions constitute circumstances unique to the property and the existing structure and are not shared by neighborhood properties that have experienced similar damage or reconstruction requirements. A literal enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner. I believe that a literal enforcement would do that. The subject property has been vacant for 8 years, as I said, following significant fire. The severity of the fire and resulting water damage rendered the building uninhabitable and required the entire structure to be brought up to full compliance, as I said. Unlike a typical renovation or conversion project, this work was not discretionary. The petitioner was required to undertake a comprehensive reconstruction effort simply to restore the building to safe and code compliant condition, as I said, at a cost of $324,000. Those costs can only be recouped by adding a 4th unit in the basement. There's no way to extend any living space to the exterior. There's no way to extend any living space to the front, and there's certainly no way to extend anything to the side. The only possible way is to take this basement all within the envelope, sitting there uninhabitable, and convert it to livable space. The addition of a small garden level unit allows the project to absorb the substantial restoration costs associated with the fire damage without altering the established streetscape. Without the requested relief for FAR, usable open space, and landscaped open space, the project would not be financially feasible. Strict enforcement of the bylaw would prevent an economically reasonable reuse of a long vacant fire damaged property and would impose a substantial hardship on the petitioner that is directly attributable to the unique condition of the structure and not to action of their own. Desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or derogating from the intent or purpose of the bylaw. This standard is also satisfied. No expansion of the building footprint is proposed. All work is being contained within the historic structure. The project is in line with objectives of the zoning bylaw. The town's broader goals of increased housing supplies will comply with the fossil fuel-free requirement. It adds additional housing in an area well served by public transit, local amenities, proximity to the LMA. The introduction of a small garden level unit contributes to housing diversity, provides an opportunity for a more attainable unit type in a high demand area, a lowercase affordable unit, as I said. In addition, the project requires a contribution to the trust fund, as I said, a win-win for the town. The requested relief is limited to what is necessary to rehabilitate the building and includes only a modest intensification. The project does not undermine the dimensional intent of the bylaw. It's not like we're asking for a new penthouse to be added on. We're taking a garden level, which is more than enough to be able to recoup our cost, supports the bylaw's goals of encouraging appropriate residential development while preserving an existing historic structure. And without this ability, my clients would not be able to undertake this endeavor. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and I hope I was clear enough with my argument.
Thank you. Board members, any questions for Mr. Allen? Steve?
Yeah,
No,
I
thank
have
you
a
for
question.
the thorough background and thorough, and I do appreciate the numbers that speak to me about this, the budgetary constraints and all that. So I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve Wadner.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there's a hardship related to topography of the lot as it related to the usable open space?
Well, other than the fact that there is just parking in the rear for all those units. All those units are all together, and there's just big paved area in the back where everybody just parks. So there's no ability whatsoever. And our lot because it's on the corner, kind of pinches. If Nicole wants to put up a site plan, we can show you the site plan, which might help you. I don't know if Nicole has.
Do we have this? Is it the site plan of the block, or at least a portion of the block?
I think we have that. If not, we could probably just pull up a quick Google Earth and you could see it.
Oh, yeah, it's in the packet. There ought to be
Oh, good.
something.
It
Yeah.
is in the back. Well, basically, I'm saying is that when you look at
Yeah, there you
the
go.
lot, the shape of it, it seems like there is a hardship based on topography of the lot, in addition to the financial aspect, as related to this open space. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a triangular lot, and that's what it does make it unique from the other lots in that area. And as you can see, there's absolutely no ability to ever get 15 by 15 anywhere in this lot to meet the usable open space. Topography, as far as
Bobby,
topography, flat.
can Nicole just trace the outline of the lot? It's a little tricky to read on this drawing. The building we see.
Yeah, you see where that 5 is? That's kind of there you go. Right there, yep.
So it doesn't include the area where it says lot 3 up above that?
No, that's
a different lot.
Yeah, that's a different lot. I think that's the guy like kind of across the back.
But if you look at the buildings, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but if you look at the buildings, it says lot 1, lot 2 on the.
Yeah.
Zoom back out, please, Nicole.
Zoom back out.
You know, you got lot 1 building, lot 2 building, and lot 3. It looked like each building just had a slice of parking. That's why it says lot 3 up there.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
But that is devoted to vehicle uses.
Yeah, not to mention there's right of ways that cross over, because there's only one access, or I think there's 2 access, but everybody has to cross over the property to get back and forth. So they all have a right of way to cross over the property.
Okay. Widener, does that answer your
You see-
question?
Yeah, that's answer my question. So basically, it's if we were to, as you look the lot,
that's a good drawing.
Yeah, that's a good drawing right there.
If we were to say, okay, why can't you put that, additional open space? To me, it seems it's not feasible. That's the reason why.
Yeah. So if you come in Aspinwall Ave there, and you live in building 3 there, you have to cross over our property to get to building 3 or building 1, pretty much every building back there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing you can do legally that because it would prevent other people from having access over the right of way.
Okay. Are you all set, Widener, or you have another question?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you. Thanks. And I don't have any questions, so we can go to public comment if we have any. Cameron, do you see any hands or anybody in the chat?
No, I don't see anything.
All right, moving along to the reports of the planning department and the planning board then.
And I'm fine, by the way, Cameron, Mr. Chair, I read the affordable housing bylaw. My client is aware of it. So if I have no trouble stipulating it, and Cameron doesn't have to read that very lengthy 408. My client is aware, and I'll stipulate to it.
Oh, the condition 2. Yeah.
Yes,
I see.
yes.
Okay. The planning board is supportive of the application. The board suggested larger windows may provide better light for the basement unit. However, they left it to the applicant's discretion. If the ZBA finds that the criteria for a variance is met, the planning board recommends approval of the site plan prepared by Peter Nolan PLS dated April 14th, 2025, and architectural plans prepared by Morris L. Shope RA dated September 2nd, 2025, subject to the following conditions. 1, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit final floor plans and elevations stamped and signed by a registered architect and a final site plan stamped and signed by a registered engineer or land surveyor to the Director for Regulatory Planning or designee for review and approval. And 3, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit to the building commissioner for review and approval, A, the floor plans, site plans, and elevations displaying the approval stamp for the Director of Regulatory Planning, and B, evidence that the Board of Appeals decision has been obtained from the town clerk's office by the applicant or their representative and recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
All right, and you have building department comments?
I do. The building department has no objection to the requested relief and will work with the petitioner to ensure compliance with the zoning bylaw, board's decision, and applicable codes.
All right. We've come to the point of the board's deliberation. I'm going to start, and I'm going to borrow Mr. Allen's framework, talking about the special permits first, and then the variances, and the various special permits required, the design review trigger because of the fourth unit, the side yard relief because of new space being built where there's no possibility of modifying the existing setbacks, the 505 conversion, the special permit related to the construction of the fourth unit and the associated payment to the fund. I appreciate the presentation. I think that the special permit conditions under 905 have been met in this case, the conditions, subparagraphs A through E, and I would be in favor of a grant of those various special permits for the proposal that's been presented. The variances are more complicated as always, but I think, in my view, the project and the project's history is an unusual circumstance, if not unique. It's I think the passage of time since the fire, and notwithstanding the demand for housing, the fact that restoration of the building didn't occur, in its current number of units, to me makes sense. I've been by the building. I've seen it on the outside. I can only imagine what the inside is like after a fire, and it seems to me that the years of vacancy and creates a circumstance where the granting of a variance is an appropriate response, as it would be for pressures on the use and development of the property created by comparable topography or land shape problems. I think it speaks in favor of the project that this is a reasonably straightforward and economically reasonable reuse, to use the applicant's words. We frequently see cases like this for buildings that have not been distressed by fire or other disasters, and where an additional unit of housing is created out of basement space. Those are special permit cases, of course, but the desirability of the creation of housing, especially where it can be done without expansion of the existing building envelope, is as positive here as it is there. And on top of that, I would say the restoration of a distressed building, which has been in somewhat unfavorable presence on its block into the neighboring properties and the neighborhood, is also in favor of the project. And seeing the absence of any public opposition and the strong support of the planning board, I would be in favor of grant of relief for the two variances for the proposed FAR and for the open space. I will stop there and ask others for comments. Steve?
Thank you. I agree wholeheartedly, Randolph, with your analysis. And I would say I don't have any idea how many developers or buyers would have sniffed around here and looked at the property and passed on it because of the inability to simply restore it to 3 units. So it seems like a perfectly appropriate use. It's a 1,574 square feet is a perfectly reasonable size for the additional unit. And the fact that there's nowhere else to go, but you need to make it economically feasible. So I would agree that the special permit criteria is satisfied under 905 and the variances where a literal interpretation of the bylaw would definitely create a hardship for this owner. So I would agree that the variances should be granted.
Thank you, Steve. Wadner, from you?
I also agree and nothing more to add.
Thank you, members. It is therefore a unanimous decision of the board to grant the requested relief, subject to the conditions that have been read into the record. I want to thank the project proponents for doing a good one for that part of Brookline and the neighborhood, and bringing this building back. And I hope it goes well. Thank you for your participation tonight.
Thank you all for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
All right. All right. Moving on from 252 Aspenwall, we will glance back at 8 Fairway Road, and I see Mr. Algendi is still in the Zoom.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a report on your architect, Mr. Algendi?
Yeah, I couldn't get him. I called him.
Okay.
And, he didn't
Okay.
answer.
I think it was a good idea to try, but our next step, if you are willing to continue the hearing to a later date, is to find a date. And Cameron, have you had a chance to look ahead and see when we have this panel, or when we could have this panel again?
So we could have this panel either 4/9 or 3/26.
I guess I would take the sooner one sooner, unless there's a reason not to. The March 26th date, Mr. Algendi, are you willing, or would you agree to that date?
Yeah, I agree to that.
Cameron, do we have to vote continuances?
Yeah, I just would, just to be safe.
All
I
right.
believe so.
As chair, I'm going to make a motion that the case at 8 Fairway Road 2025-000067 be continued from tonight to March 26th at 7 p.m. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Steve. On the motion, Steve?
Agreed.
Yep. And Wadner?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Algendi. We will see you on the 26th. And if I could just ask if you can, it would be, I think, helpful if the architect can respond and provide some more information in advance of the hearing.
Okay.
Always helpful.
Okay, I'll ask him to do that, and of course, ask him to attend as well.
Okay, and of course, he's welcome to be in touch with Cameron or other staff at the department if that will help move things along. I'm very hopeful we will be able to conclude at the later date. With that, we have come to the end of this evening's meeting. I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Wadner. On the motion to adjourn, Steve Brooks.
Aye.
Wadner Rajay.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It's unanimous. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We
Good
will
night.
See you all the
Thank
next
you.
time around.
All right, thank you.